You want me to put that on my todger?
Harry's wife, the cuckoo, in the royal nest. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor, and there you are. The cuckoo in the cuckoo clock. Not even a real cuckoo, which is probably fairly apt when it comes to Harry's wife. You'll be familiar with the cuckoo. A cuckoo is a brood parasite, meaning what it does is it lays its eggs in the nest of other birds, and then means that they rely upon another bird to bring up their young. So, in a sense, the cuckoo is very apt for perhaps being viewed as the narcissist. A sense of entitlement to do what it wants, lack of boundary recognition by using somebody else's nest, lack of accountability, the parental obligation of responsibilities and duties, leaving it to somebody else to bring up the cuckoo as its own young. But it goes even further than that, because cuckoos, which are obligate brood parasites and sometimes non-obligate, meaning what they do is they end up leaving their eggs in the same species but for somebody else to bring them up again, but ordinarily are obligate brood parasites, what they need to do is trick their host to allow reproduction. And there are lots of strategies that cuckoos use for getting their eggs into a host nest. And different species use different strategies based upon the host's defensive strategies. Female cuckoos have secretive and fast-laying behaviours, but in some cases, males have been shown to lure host adults away from their nests so that the females can lay their eggs in the nest. Some host species may directly try to prevent cuckoos laying eggs in the nest in the first place. Birds whose nests are at a high risk of cuckoo contamination are known to mob attack cuckoos to drive them out of the area. Sometimes the female parasitic cuckoo specialise and lay eggs that closely resemble the eggs of their chosen host, mimicry. And therefore, there's lots of different ways that the narcissistic cuckoo, if we can call it as such, behaves in this way. Of course, the cuckoo is seen as somebody that comes along and tries to take things over by basically depositing their young and expecting somebody else to bring them up. But who has been calling Harry's wife a cuckoo? Well, LBC reports via Emma Soteru that Harry's wife is cuckoo in royal nest, and her woke hang-ups will destroy her marriage with Harry, says former Labour minister. Harry's wife's woke Californian hang-ups are likely to destroy her marriage to Prince Harry, a senior Labour politician has said. Former Labour minister Chris Mullin suggested the Duke of Sussex will come limping home when his marriage to Harry's wife ends in tears. Harry's wife is clearly the main mover in the couple's relationship, with Harry very much second fiddle, he said. Of course, that's entirely appropriate. As the narcissist, she is the one that asserts that control over him, and he, as the victim, plays second fiddle. Mr. Mullin added that she is a cuckoo in the royal nest. Mr. Mullin made the controversial claims in his latest memoir, which has been serialised by The Independent. He also dismissed Harry's wife's comments from her interview with Oprah, where she claimed that an unnamed royal speculated about the skin colour of Archie, her son, with Harry. He compared the story to his own family, saying people have often said they could see Vietnamese blood in his daughter as his wife was Vietnamese born, and it is not in the least offensive. Another individual weighing in to pass his observations about Harry's wife, and this time decrying her woke Californian hang-ups, seeing that that's what's going to destroy the marriage. Well, what's really going to destroy the marriage, of course, is her need to devalue him and then disengage from him in the fullness of time, because that's the way that this is likely to go. And, of course, describing her as a cuckoo in the royal nest. Namely, that she has come along and sought to impose herself upon the established order of things. That, of course, is accurate. That is what she did. As a narcissist with no boundary recognition and her sense of entitlement and an absence of accountability for her behaviours, she, in effect, flew in, misled Harry, and caused him to believe that he'd achieved something that he hadn't. She put forward a facade, although she couldn't maintain it particularly well, with members of the royal family, and then, having got what she wanted, continued to try and change things, but found that she couldn't. In effect, the Cuckoo found itself facing problems in terms of causing the other members of the family to give her what she wanted on a repeated basis. And thus she was forced to flee that royal nest, assert control by withdrawal and retreating to Canada and then the United States. But the description of her as a cuckoo is apt. Undoubtedly, many of you will be thinking, well, she's cuckoo crazy in the way that she has behaved. And of course, it does often appear that way. But when you apply the lens of her narcissism to it, you gain understanding as to why she behaves as she does. You don't have to like it, but you'll at least understand it. And that's so important because so many people fail still to understand what really drives her behaviours. You can see it all across message boards, below-the-line comments, discussion forums, where they talk about she's done this because, she's done that because. It isn't. It comes down to her narcissism. And her narcissism causes her to behave in a way to ensure that she keeps control over people, nullifies threats that come along, keeps drawing fuel from them, and extracting character traits and residual benefits. In a way, it's actually straightforward. Her interactions with other people are governed by those four things. She doesn't know it, and her narcissism masks it with other things to compel her to pursue those four things. But that's what's behind everything that she does when it comes to involve another person. It caused her to behave like the cuckoo that Mr. Mullin describes. That she came along and decided, I'll insert myself in there, and caused them to have to give me what I want. Of course, after a period of time, that didn't go her way, and we know where it has ended up. But it is interesting that even a former Labour minister, Chris Mullin, who many of you won't have even heard of, and he's certainly not been particularly noticeable in recent times, feels moved to pass comment upon her, and to do so in a way which, of course, is derogatory, albeit accurate. Identifying her as the cuckoo in the royal nest is accurate. It's challenge fuel for her, and even from perhaps one of the more obscure commentators, demonstrates the depth of dislike that exists for Harry's wife. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.